welcome back. So in today's video, I have two Dollar Tree DIYs that I think are going to really impress you. I'm going ahead and put this video out. I know it's a little bit early to be thinking about fall, but that's where my mind is. But one of the Dollar Tree items, I normally have a hard time finding them, and I think they're more of like a summer item that Dollar Tree carries. So that's why I'm going ahead and getting this video out now, so maybe you can find the items at Dollar Tree if you're wanting to, make your own version of this. And I really hope you enjoy this video. I love making Dollar Tree items, Dollar Tree DIYs that don't look so like cheap and cheesy and looks like something you would buy at a higher end store. And I really think these two items come across like that. So you'll just have to let me know what you think in the comment section down below. So without me keeping on running my mouth, let's get started. So here I have these Dollar Tree shovels. I finally found some. I had been looking for so long. So I'm going to paint them with this gray paint. And as you could see, it was not doing very well. It was kind of streaky. And I wasn't happy with the coverage. And I knew I was going to have to paint multiple coats. And that just was not going to work for me. So I tried something that I had seen other YouTubers do, and I mixed up my own, and I mixed up some white, some black, and I used some baking soda, and it made all the difference in the world. It made it a little bit thicker, and as you can see, I mean, that was one coat of it right there. So I was happy with that. So once I got them all painted and let them dry, I'm now going to do my rust technique, and my inspiration was a picture I found on Pinterest. I will insert it, of a very old rusty shovel. I mean, I want this thing to be so rusty, and so I'm going to do my little rust technique that I've done a couple times in the past, and I'm just putting it on very, very heavy. I'm using my Elmer's glue, and I'm just coating this heavy. And I end up having to do 2 coats of the rust because I really don't want the gray to show through as much. I want it to really look rusty. Do y'all get the point? I want it to be rusty. So I do this on both of my little shovels, and honestly, y'all, this DIY took me way longer than it really should have. I worked on this for several days because it was a lot of drying in between. But I would do, the front of one of the shovels and the back of one of the shovels, let that dry, repeat, let that dry, and then I had to do the other sides. Okay, you see this right here where my paint was coming off with my rust technique? What I did was I tried to go ahead and cover it up. But I did learn through this DIY for when I do it again, because of course I've got to make the little princess one. What I do is once this coat of the rust technique dries, I'm going to seal it with my little Krylon lacquer, and I seal it, and then I go and do another rust technique on it, and that kind of keeps it from pulling the paint up. But there it is up close. But it's not nearly rusty enough. I want it to be covered, like barely, if any, of the gray showing through. So this was after the first coat, and as you can see, I've sprayed it with my sealer. Well, you didn't see that I sprayed it with my sealer, but I did spray it with my sealer. And now I'm going to go back over it and cover up where it took off that paint, and this really helped sealing it in before doing the second coat of rust. So I think the next time, before I ever paint them, I'm going to spray the sealer on it, then paint them, and do the rust technique. So here it is. This is my second coat of the rust technique, and that's looking like I want it to. So now this is it dried, and I love it. I think it looks so old. So now I just have to do the opposite sides, and I'll do 2 coats of each on that. And once I get the 2 coats each on the sides, this is what it looks like, and I love it. So now how to put them together. Well, I've sealed them since then. I've went ahead and sealed them. So James drilled me a hole all the way through one of them, as you can see, and he did like a countersink hole. And then drilled me a hole on one side of the other one, and then we'll just screw them together, and that's how we will attach them. And I didn't want them to be at the same height. I wanted them to be kind of staggered. But first we got to antique the handles. So I'm taking my antique wax and I'm just going over them. And I don't know if y'all have ever noticed any old shovels. They don't just have the one color. They have like the wood color, and then they kind of like grayish color from just age. So I did mix up some gray and went over that to kind of make it look a little older. And yeah, this is really pointless because at the end of it, you really can't see the handles that much. But then I take my wax and I go over that to darken it up and just make it look old and dirty. So that's what I'm doing here. And anytime I can use this wax, I just love to do it. And then we're gonna screw them back together. So there's my screw there. I'm gonna screw it into that one. And what I like about this is you can like make them as close together as you want, or you can like spread them apart, your choice, whatever you want to do. But that's what they look like. And now we're going to put our styrofoam on. And I'm going to use my zip ties for this. I wish I would have had a longer zip tie, but I didn't, so I just put two together. And this is actually a piece of Dollar Tree styrofoam that I cut in half because it would have just been too bulky with the full square. So I just cut it in half. And I'm just going to zip tie it on with my zip ties. Like I said, I just put two together to make one long one. Just kind of position it where you want it. And then I'm going to do one from the side and then one from the top to the bottom. You'll see what I'm doing here. And this holds it really securely. And get it on there real tight, secure as you want. And what I like about this, y'all, is you can change this decor up for the different seasons. This would be so cute for spring, summer, fall. Of course, I'm doing fall because that's the next season that I'm decorating for. And I'm making this for fall. But, I mean, all you got to do is cut your zip ties and take off your foam. You don't even have to tear your arrangement apart and keep it and then just reapply it. So these are all from the Dollar Tree this year. Are they not gorgeous? I wish I've gotten more. But I just cut all the flowers apart, and then you just start making your arrangement. I wish I would have got better, angles of this, but I just got in the zone and just started playing, and you'll see how it turns out. And this is the reveal. I love it. What do you think? Okay, y'all are going to be so amazed at how simple this DIY is, but how it turns out. So this is a soap dish from Dollar Tree, and this is a piece of scrapbook paper that I had from Hobby Lobby. I've had it for a while and wanted to use it. So I'm going to make my own Trinket tray, but it can be used as a soap dish, Trinket tray, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to show you how I stage it at the end a couple different ways. But first I'm just going to paint the rim of it black. And I just have this black paint. I'm just going to paint that, give it a good coat. It covers really well. I think I might have done 2 coats, but you're just going to get the black on there. And we're just going to paint the sides right now. And if you see, I tried one attempt to cut out and it failed. So this is the best way to do it. Lay it face down, trace around it with your pencil, and then cut that out with your scissors. And it's okay if it overlaps just a little bit because I have a solution for that. But I'm just going to cut this part out with my scissors, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so once we have it cut out, then we're going to take our little dish and make sure it lines up, and it does. That technique worked, so I'm good with that. So what are we going to use? Of course, we're going to use our Mod Podge. Where would we be without Mod Podge? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a really good coat on my little dish. good coat of Mod Podge. And I don't remember, I'm going to have to watch with you to see if I actually put it on the paper. I want to say that I do. It's been a little while since I've made this. Yeah, okay, I do. I put a coat of it on my little scrapbook paper, and then we're going to place it on our dish. And it's going to have some wrinkles, but we're just going to do our best and smooth it out the best that we can. It's not going to be perfectly smooth, but that's okay because in the end it's going to add to it. But this is kind of like a little concave dish, so it's not going to be perfectly smooth, but like I said, that's okay. And just line it up the best you can around the sides. Don't worry if it hangs over. It's not a problem. We're going to work with it, but I'm just kind of smoothing out the wrinkles the best that I can, but it's going to work out and it's going to be really cute, and we're going to make this look really old and antiqued. So just smooth it out the best that you can, and then we will move on to the next step.
There was a time when I was lonely. I was trying hard to get by, taking day by day. But baby, then you came along. I know I never felt that strong.
Okay, so once you get it smoothed out the best that you can, we're going to go back over that with another layer of Mod Podge. We're just going to coat it really well, make sure that our edges are coated and they're, going to be stuck down really well. And just going to let that, once we get this on there, we're just going to let that dry. And the good thing about Mod Podge, it does not take forever for it to dry, so that's a good thing. I hope you're enjoying this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and hit that little red subscribe button if you hadn't already. I would love for y'all to become part of my YouTube family. I just love showing y'all all these fun and cute little ways of doing some inexpensive DIY crafts that look like you spent a lot of money on them. I'm not about the cheesy, cheap-looking DIYs. I really like them to look like you spent a good deal of money on it when you didn't, and I like to display them in my home. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Okay, so now that our Mod Podge is dry, we're going to take this, I like using this fingernail file, and we're just going to smooth the edges. And anywhere there was wrinkles, we're just going to kind of file it down and just smooth them out and get any excess that was hanging off the edges off. And once that's done, then I could see like some of the clear on the top where I didn't paint it. So I'm going to go back around that with my paint and cover that and just kind of get as close to that edge as I can. You can see I'm just getting right there to the edge of the paper. I just didn't like that you could see the clear there. It might not have really made a difference, but to me it did. So I'm just going to cover that with my paint, get close to the edge as I can. And once I do this, then I'm also going to flip it over, and you'll see in just a moment, I didn't like the way the bottom was unfinished. I wanted it to be finished. So I'm going to flip that over. But you can see I'm just getting right up there to the edge. It's okay if it gets on your paper a little bit. It's not a problem. Okay, so now I flipped it over, and I can still see some of the clear. I didn't like it. I wanted it to be finished and look really good. So I'm just going over it with my black, and I do remove the sticker. I'm not going to paint over the sticker. So I'm going to remove the sticker and give it all a good coat of black, and I like the way that it looks finished. Once I've done that, would it be a DIY of mine without my antique wax from Waverly? So I'm just going to take a wet wipe, and is that a paper towel? No, I'm going to take a dry paper towel, and I'm going to get some of my wax on it. Tap off the excess, and I'm just going to rub it all over. And this is going to give it that aged antique look, and it's also going to cover up any places that we had to file, and we may have took some of the paper off. And this is why I like to file it, because it kind of roughs it up, and it also allows the wax to kind of penetrate it and just make it look aged. I like that look personally, so I like to do this. So I'm just going to go over all of that rub it in, wipe off any of the excess, and just cover up any white spots where we've might have filed the paper. I hope that makes sense. I do go over the sides because this is a chalk paint, so this will kind of help seal it as well, but we are going to seal it. But there I am, just kind of wiping off any excess. And again, I say I love the way this turned out, and I don't think anybody would know it's a Dollar Tree soap dish, in my opinion. But so once I get all of that done, then I'm going to take my Krylon lacquer, spray lacquer, and I'm going to take it outside. I don't film that, but I'm going to take it outside, and I'm going to give it a really good coat on the top, the sides, and the underneath, because I don't want it to scratch. And that's it. What do you think? Pretty cute, huh? I love those little shovels, and I think now is the time to grab those. So I went ahead and grabbed up several of them at my Dollar Tree. I actually was at a different Dollar Tree than what I normally shop at, and that's when I found them, and I've never been able to find them before, and I've had this idea that I wanted to do this. But y'all, I forgot to tell y'all how I hang it. So what I did was I just took some jute. I doubled it up, and then I just tied it onto one of my zip ties like that, and then you can hang it up. Now I just put the excess ribbon, like the bow part, to the back, and then I just hang it like this, and it's gonna look like this. You're gonna think that's not gonna work, but once you hang it on your door, it does hang flat on your door, and it works out. That's the only way I could come up with how to hang it up, and it works. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think about it down in the comment section down below. And until next time, bye y'all.